Welcome everybody to Play the Surreal DotA podcast to episode 3. Like promised last time, this time we have Mr. Liberty back from the vacation. Hello.
Hello. I
And
stole Tiger's introduction.
yeah, yeah, and also of course Mr. Tiger is here as well, the strong bone of this podcast. Hello.
Strong bone.
Yeah, strong bone.
Okay.
So how are you doing, guys?
Yeah, good. Back from holiday, which is nice. First game of Dota back was really strange. I felt like my mouse didn't fit in my hand, and I don't know if you guys have ever had when you start playing Dota after a while, you feel like you're really zoomed in because obviously it's good to be like have as much information as possible and be as zoomed out as possible. Felt like I was like super zoomed in and didn't know what was going on around me, so it was kind of awkward. But yeah, I came back. I got back to my high Guardian Crusader level quite quickly.
Former glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how are you doing, Tiger?
And now you make me feel nervous. Now I'm on the spot, put on the spot. I don't like that.
You're not, you're not.
I'm okay. Feeling better, a bit better
Alright.
than last week.
That's certainly good to hear. Okay, so I think we can move on and go to the Reddit posts and news that happened for past week, which we are gonna open up with an interesting thing that's related to DPC a little bit. The Reddit post was deleted by moderators, but the title of it says trash, and there is just a photo of Alliance record in the DPC, which is that they lost all of their games. Not just games, but all the maps they played. Each of their matches ended up 0-2. And obviously they are moving back to the Division 2, where
Where they belong.
I was about to say that where, thanks to the showing in the Div 1, they certainly belong. At least it looks like it. So I assume, Tiger, you're pretty happy.
I mean, yeah. Why do you assume that? First of
Uh,
all,
I mean, you have a kind of beef against Alliance, I kind of feel like.
I mean, against this roster with Weeha as well, then yeah, I do.
Well, they kicked Symmetrical, which we've covered last week, but I'm I'm not sure like how they wanna salvage the roster, not to mention salvage Nikobaby. Because like that's something I wanna touch on. Like if you were Nico, what would you do in this situation? Like you've been with Alliance for I don't know how long, 3 years maybe even 4, because that was his first team after he left Mineski, after the TI
After
ended.
he got clapped out of Minesk.
And he's been with Alliance since then, right? Then like you're not making any progress. You are in community everywhere. You are recognized as a good player, as a stable core player, and you're telling me that he doesn't have any like ideas about like switching team, switching organization to like let's say a team that can get him to upper places, not just on a TI but overall in DPC, have more earnings, stuff like that. What do you guys think?
And what makes you
Well,
think Nikobaby's not the problem?
yeah, that's kind of my point, Tiger. I would agree with you there, and I would say like I wrote down on my notepad when you said that Nikobaby good question mark question mark question mark because
Exactly.
because like I agree with you that he's somewhat respected as far as like a consistent tier 1 player, well except for last season obviously, but if you look at their results, like Alliance hasn't really been good for a long time, and I know that they had a lot of non-LAN success, but they were very one-dimensional in that success. That they did the same draft that the heroes were strong that they played, and they just kind of ground it out. And then they failed as soon as they had like any kind of challenge on the way they played, and let's say better drafters and more variety of heroes played because all regions have a different meta. They just collapsed. And I think as well, like the players that they kicked, you look at that, like again, Goon Squad playing tie breaks to stay up. I think it's Hanskin that went there, and then Leslau and Quincy Crew are obviously quite good. Other than yesterday, I think they lost to EG, but they're still at 6-1, right? So I think, yeah, maybe he's not moving because nobody wants him.
Yeah, it could very well be. Yeah, I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but I mean, Goon Squad without Nikobaby is doing the same with or without him, right? Like, I don't see the difference there. I mean, I'm not gonna like. Obviously, when he played in TIM and Eski, he played okay. What were they? We were like 12th or something like that, right? Like they came through lower bracket best of one,
Yeah,
TI
I think they
8 or 9.
like top 10 or top 8. Can't remember
Oh,
exactly,
they
but
came out of best of ones. They won the best of one and then they lost. So that's
oh,
like top 14 or 12.
yeah, probably top 12, yeah.
You know, like they could have done that without Nikobaby as well, probably. But like, it's easy to hate, but I'm not sure that Nikobaby is like I like. Isn't he known as a well rager? Like if that were to be my teammate, I would not perform better because he rages. It would only make me perform worse.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. And another thing, like just to point out on Goon Squad, like you mentioned that they're not like doing too hot, but like they're a brand new-ish team, right? So I don't think they
Yeah.
have like a sponsorship or anything like that. They basically haven't lost until this season. They went through the qualifiers, got in, got promotion, and any team that's been promoted to Div 1 from Div 2, with like the exception of a few stacked teams, has generally kind of been at the bottom and gone down. So I think it's kind of to be expected, right? I know some of those players have played Div 1 before, but it might just be a growing pain. So they might have like this kind of meteoric rise through Div 2 and then stabilize. We'll see what happens. But even if they go back down, they might come back stronger, etc. But yeah, Nico, I personally don't rate him. I think he's one dimensional.
Yeah, I
Mm,
think so too. It's like the 4 protect 1 strat. That's where he excels, and that's also it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's a win more like player. So I think that one of the reasons, like, I haven't watched a lot of his games, but of the games that I've watched, when they're winning, he like excels. He's farms. He has space. It's fine. Like he knows how to make the right decisions. He's like, he's aggressive in lane, etc. So when they get ahead, they get ahead. But he's not like this kind of carry that, in my opinion at least, that can win the game out of nowhere. And or like there's a few players that are these playmakers or game breakers, as you want to call them. The likes of like Sumail can take over a game, or Miracle, or whoever. Like these amazing carries that can just actually carry a game even from a losing position. I don't think I can think of any game where I've been like, oh wow, they're behind, Alliance is losing, and Nikobaby is going to come back and win the game. It's always been somebody else that's kind of created the space, or if they do have a comeback, I don't even remember them having comebacks. And I think that's important to do at the top level to be able to win some unwinnable games, as they say. You're going to have just one game, and that mentality side of it throughout a tournament, especially a LAN, because that's what all these players play for. Nobody cares about winning the DP tournament. There's no money in it. It's all about getting to the LAN and winning money there, getting to TI. Can't do it on that stage. What's the point?
Yeah, true that. But I also think like he cannot deal. Like, I mean, cannot deal with the pressure. He's inexperienced with the pressure. What does he really have that much LAN experience? I don't think so, right?
Not
Mm,
ton. He played TI.
I mean, he does have
He played like one TI. That's like his first ever tournament. That was as well, right?
He
no,
played
he was on
two.
2 TIs at least, but like if you take it from a perspective like LAN tournaments, I think he has plenty of experience. The thing is, he doesn't have plenty of experience in my eyes with like um the later stage of LANs. Like he never got to like top 4, top 3 maybe in any stage of any
And are you
tournament.
changing your mind now and then agreeing with us?
No, 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 no. I'm not changing my mind. I'm like stating facts, right? Like in my opinion, Nico is a good player. That's the idea I have of him. Like whenever I watch his replays and stuff, like they are very mechanical, logic based. There isn't anything. It's kind of like you see something and then you're like, yeah. When he does it, it's completely logical. Everything makes sense and you understand it, right? Then you go to your game and it just doesn't make sense. But like when you watch him, it makes sense to me. Like
Well,
if
well, let me
I
ask. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, if I look at other players from Alliance, like Weeha, yeah, sure. Like I still respect him. I still think he's a good player. I specifically respect him for his meepo. I know Tiger you would disagree a lot, but I think Weeha is still a very good meepo player.
I mean,
And
if I have beaten you in lane, then I disagree. Yeah.
yeah, and then like who is there? Like the Stoma, yeah. I mean, nobody really knows him. You know, he wasn't really like anything astonishing from coming, you know, like a star from other region. He played in multiple teams in pro scene. I'm pretty sure a lot of people knew him. A lot of people knew his personality due to the fact that they played with him and stuff like that, right? Aramis, like I didn't had a chance to speak with him, but I did had a chance to speak with Boom, who played with Aramis before, and he said he's a very nice guy
Well,
and
hold up. You
pretty
speak
decent
with
player.
Boom.
I managed to speak with him once, yes, due to my friend that knows him, just
Okay.
briefly, but yeah, and
Get
like
him on the podcast.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be possible. I like previously I tried to work out a coaching session with him, and he told me that he doesn't even have time for that because of the pro level that he just doesn't have time. You know, which is obviously understandable. But back to that, yeah, and like he seems to be like stable, you know, but stable is not the star, and yeah, that like there is certain need for stability in a team in every single position. But if you have like, I still value position 4 really high in terms of like all the positions that we have, and I think like post 4 is like either number 1 or number 2 priority that like needs to be performing, because if you don't perform on position 4, then like your entire basically like Elite mid game is like what, nothing, like position 2 running around solo, you know. So that's that. And then like Yokic symmetrical, like sure, I've listened to the OG Monkey Business podcast. He was there, he was talking about it. They had a lot of internal issues and stuff like that, which you know is understandable. You know, like you don't click, yeah, sure, well, let's move on. You know, that's what I took from it. I don't think symmetrical is like as well, you know, a bad player. Obviously all of them are better than me, you know, so what am I even talking about, right? But like from the perspective, it's the same, right? Like that, I kind of feel like for past, I don't know, 2 years there hasn't been an offlaner that stand out to me really.
Amar.
Uh, yeah, like there are two names for me, right? Amar and Saberlight. And if I'm gonna like choose
Wait, hold
between
up.
them, I don't want to
Both
choose
one-shot
either.
wonders right now, though. Both are one-shot wonders. Neither of those have like had sustained success so far. I expect that both of them probably, well, at least, yeah, I don't know. I expect them to, but they haven't actually proven
Yeah,
it on over multiple tournaments.
yeah.
But before you go any further, I just want to bring you back to one point here. So I've just pulled up Nikobaby's results, and I've on Wikipedia, and I've opened up. So let me ask you a question: how many tier one events do you think that he's won, or what do you think his best,
Zero.
and what do you think his best finish in a tier one event is?
Like eighth or something like that. Sixth, maybe.
I
Well,
would
he's got a.
say I would say
Go ahead.
eight, like around 8 to 12 on TI. I think that would be. Oh no no
Hmm.
no no. I mean like tier one event could be like Star Leader. I'm pretty sure he was like top 4 on at least one event on tier
Well, look,
one.
he got third at ESL Summer One in the time when they were quite strong, which was like last summer when Alliance like they're in their own meta. And other than that, his top result has been fourth place in like Dream League Season 13 or Omega League, like which are like barely tier one. These are barely tier one tournaments in my opinion. So he's never won anything or been a part of anything at a high level.
And that
Just
on the Dream League season 13, that was 2.5 years ago.
yeah, that's what my point is as well. So that like last summer, so if you take out ESL one summer, which is a one tournament when they're super strong on their meta, and that's when they also would have won the the DPC season. He's got mostly in the last 2-3 years, all are like set 9 to 12th, 7 to 8th, like these kind of results. 13th at Singapore Major after they bombed out. Like, come on, you know.
Yeah.
And my point about it is like, look, that's really good result to be able to play consistently for a couple of years at that level. But Alliance is a massive organization. So is this the player you want to try to build around? That's my question. And only Alliance knows that, but I don't think it's right.
I don't think he'd do.
Loda in the interview that's been, I don't know, it's been like a week ago or 3 weeks ago. I actually don't remember. I watched it, I don't know, a few days ago, and he said that he believes in Nico, mainly in Nico. That's why he
Yeah.
also stayed in that roster throughout. Like, there has been during that period, there has been 2 announcements of Alliance kicking the entire roster, and only Nico always stayed.
Yeah, but isn't like Loda like director or owner or something like that?
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, he's like CEO and coach as well.
Yeah, well, Alliance hasn't won a tier 1 event since.
TI3.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
looking
I
through.
hate to say it, but that it might be true, no? Actually,
I'm looking right now. Tier
they
3.
they
So far,
might
I'm
they
back to
might want
2019.
something.
I'm back to 2019. Still no first. These are all tier 3 events qualifier. Tier 1. Tier. Nope. Okay. Star Ladder I League Star Series Season 1 in 2016 is the last time they placed first in a tier 1 event.
2016. I don't even remember that tournament.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
well, I
when
mean, it
when
was
the
some
old
season.
TI3 roster just came back together or something like that? Or not
No,
even?
I'm pretty sure no. That was roster with
I mean, that was
uh
2016.
yeah.
Like,
2016
That
the
was
roster was
Loda. That was Admiral
Hansken.
Bulldog. Admiral
yeah,
Bulldog was playing for them.
yeah,
Loda,
that's what I
F4,
mean.
Admiral Bulldog, EGM, and Ake.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
what I
was
mean.
the
That's the
entire
old
roster. Okay.
the TI3.
Okay.
Just to put it in perspective. So, like, do we consider them? I mean, they're a big organization, but are they a top organization?
No,
No.
They're just kind of one
for
of those people that hang around. They're hanging
yeah,
around,
for
hanging
for
around.
I don't take Alliance as like top tier organization for like, I don't know, past 6 years maybe even.
Well, that was the only one that they won that year, and then again after that, you have to go all the way back to Dream League Season 1, 2014. So they win like a tier 1 event. Well, they were decent back then in 2013, 2014. Obviously,
Yeah,
they won the international, but like after that, it's just like they had kind of 1 year of being all right, 2014, and then they just won 1 event or 2 events since then. They're tier 1,
yeah.
but they're just good enough to hang around. They're punching bag in my opinion.
Yeah, like they are good enough to hold on in the like a DPC. I don't know.
What I think the problem is that you have someone like Loda. Like again, I don't know too much about him, but you have I think an old brain, his archaic way of thinking that you know experience is good and all this kind of stuff. But again, we've talked about this as a theme over the last few podcasts. I know you guys touched on it briefly, but is the new blood coming in? And if you don't adapt in business, in sports, in anything, if you're at the top, you have to work to stay at the top, and you have to keep adapting, or else you're going to get eaten up by the younger teams. And see that coming. There's teams that don't have sponsorships that start up that are beating people winning events. There's teams that come out of nowhere like Team Spirit and win events. There's new roster on OG that's winning events. Like there's all new stuff happening, and if you don't adapt and bring those players in, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's why I'll downvote, or actually, I mean upvote because the Lions is trash.
I always wait to actually upvote it when we're on this call. So yes, I just gave my upvote.
Yeah, I'm giving up vote as well because it is pretty funny to see a team go from Div 1 to Div 2 to Div 1 to lose every single game and every single map and go back to Div 2. It's fun.
All right.
Okay, the next 2 posts that we are gonna discuss are related to the DotA client update that has been released a few days back, which is about a 5 stack are now permitted from matching with a legal teams, or was it wrote like regular teams, something like that, and that they can now match with parties of like 2 and 3 players. And to that, we have two posts. The first one is that there are too many Smurfs account boosters in 5-stack parties, which we've basically touched upon last week. And the other one is if Valve wants to encourage playing in stacks, they should implement features that help players find people they enjoy playing with, ideas inside the post itself. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the new basically matchmaking or matching patch that has been released. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's good or do you think it's super fucking dog shit like I do?
Yeah, I think it's like I think. I mean, just the fact that as a 5-stack you can play against 2 and 3 stacks is ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it doesn't even have to relate to like, yeah, we are, a team that play regularly, so we just go to matchmaking and we just play there. But it is also related to the fact like you just build, invite some friends and stuff like that. You are together on a Discord, and this guy knows this guy knows this guy, therefore you meet a party, already know each other, play with each other, instead of like having been matched against 3 and 2 stack. In my opinion, it's totally stupid. Like
I mean,
Yeah.
beyond.
I get what they're trying to do, right? Like you want to encourage that, but I don't like. Are they forgetting the downsides as well? That boosting gets so much easier because it doesn't matter. Like as a 5-stack being coordinated against a 2 and a 3-stack, like there's always going to be internal disagreements within the 2 and the 3-stack because everyone thinks they know better. Well, in the 5-stack, that's not the case at all, or it shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I this post. So there's two posts that you mentioned here. So like around the Smurfs and boosters. I don't know. I think that's always going to happen, regardless. And if they find a way to exploit it, fair enough. Like whatever. Um, I think it's really interesting. This other post though, that's kind of related to the same thing, where he's looking for an idea on how to make party, because we've all been part of like Discord servers, and we all met through Kio's Academy originally, and through that it's easy to form like easy-ish to form 5 stacks and teams and stuff like that. But in the body of this post where it says implement features that help players to find people they enjoy playing with, I think that's actually a really interesting idea. So if they want to maybe move towards having like more 5 stacks and finding games, that's probably a better option. So I would agree with that post. I think that one thing that they should do, and I absolutely hate this about Dota, is stop people from changing their names. I think they should charge money for it or something like that, or have like some way to find out who people are, because everyone changes their name, and I know Synergy, you change your name a decent amount on some of your accounts, but you keep your name on your main account. To be fair, not that you have Smurfs, I don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
Awkward silence. But so I think like I know that I've enjoyed playing with people before, and I've been like, oh, like that person was cool. They use the mic. They're nice enough or whatever. We have maybe a similar play style. Doesn't even matter if they're good. We just get along, and that's what Dota is for 90% of people. Is it's fun. But then they'll change their name, and I can't find them, or I don't know who these people are on my friends list, so I end up deleting them, and I never really kind of build that community. So I personally think that would be a good idea, is to like delete that ability. And I know you can go in and find their profile, but who's going to remember that? You know what I mean? Or at least maybe if you could put comments on a player. So if I could right click on Synergy's name and be like, position 4 or 5 player, plays this hero and that hero, got along good,
You wanna
whatever.
know a life hack for that?
Yeah,
There is
nicknames.
add nickname.
What I want to mention from the second post is the feature that he mentioned, which is very similar to the avoid list, which is something I think you mentioned as well, the like good player list or something like that, which I think it would be a very decent idea. Not saying it would work because we know how Dota players are, but
So
it's decent idea.
I get the idea, but like, how is that different from just adding them to your friends list? Are you keeping people that you hate on your friends list?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I know when to queue up when they're not queuing.
Or when they are queuing, so you can go against them.
Yeah. But there's always the risk that you get matched with them as well, right?
Put them on your avoid list, but also on your friends list.
Yeah, but aren't like how many people can you like on your dodge list? Like 50 or something like that, right? Or 40
Default
even.
default is 20.
20.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! You already have to pay for that.
You have to pay for 20, yeah.
It's stupid.
That comes with Dota Plus, and then if you wanna update it infinitely, you can use shards. The other thing that I wanted to a little bit touch on, which we've covered plenty of in the last episode, but this change, which is really related to the first post, means that there for sure is gonna be a lot more business in account boosting slash, I don't know, I mean smurfing, not really, but the account boosting and creating accounts for sure. Because just this fact means that the games for boosters are gonna be a lot easier. The time span on like boosting account or creating account would be a lot uh, faster. So I think this kinda indirectly buffs quote unquote the business environment around boosting and account creation. Okay, the next post we can laugh a little, which I really liked and enjoyed. Oh wait, we didn't actually. Yeah, fuck, we didn't decided whether we upvote or downvote those.
I'm impartial to them. They don't. I don't know. I think there's some kind of points, but I don't necessarily agree with all. I'm going to upvote the one that says encourage playing in stacks should implement features because I do believe that that's true and Valve could be doing more. There are too many Smurfs account boosters and 5 stack parties. I don't really care.
Yes, the implement features is an upvote. I think they focus on the wrong end of the stick, like the wrong end of the problem. They're helping 5 stacks, but they should help like people becoming 5 stack.
Yeah. Okay, I will upvote both because the first one is related to the account boosting, which I think is a bad thing. It's gonna lead to a lot worse games and worse game experience. And the second one, and I'm gonna upvote as well because I agree with the idea of it for sure. Okay,
Yep.
so moving on to the fun.
Fun? Where is the fun?
Ask me about Dota 2, then edit it to make me look as bad as possible. And I laughed so hard about a lot of the comments that were there. Just the first one is fucking good. Like, what is the age of your girlfriend? About 8 years already. Like, all of these are amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, go ahead, read some. Like, doesn't have to be just me.
Who is your favorite among your mom's boyfriends? Only one answer. Admiral Bulldog, no contest. I'm assuming it was like favorite streamer.
Yeah. How would you convince your wife that a threesome with patch meat flaps is needed to make you whole as a person? Lead on 90% and then let them follow up the rest of the 10%.
I don't understand that one. I feel like I need to read it. Say it again.
How would you convince your wife that a threesome with patch meat flaps is needed to make you whole as a person? Lead on 90% and then let them follow up the rest of the 10%.
Cool.
These are why are they all sex related?
Oh, this one's actually good. Briefly explain your girlfriend's vagina during her periods. Arena of blood.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Nobody can convince me that this was edited. The secondary comment was better than the first on there.
What is your opinion on abortions? I love it ever since the first one came out.
Jeez.
I really like the idea.
I've seen actually quite a few of these posts pop up on Reddit around different things as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Why are they
Well,
all about sex or being like hitting someone or
because it's like probably mostly like 16 to 40-year-old
yeah?
males on the
Pe-
subreddit.
pe- people are children. Yes.
Horny teenagers not exposed to women enough.
What's
Living
the
in their mom's basement.
Yeah, speaking about what's the thing between your mom's legs called? Black hole.
That's a good one.
Uh, yeah, but I really like this one a lot. I like it because I know that
Downvote.
I like it because I know that the jokes are meant to be silly. They are not meant to be serious, so I don't mind laughing
I
about
mean,
the
jokes
stuff.
can be silly without having to be all about sex and violence.
I'm
I mean, I know that's
I'm
the nature of the beast, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually an interesting segue. And Synergy, I'll take over like a little bit. Like, I'm taking your role here a little bit to do this, but I'm sure you don't mind. Is the next three posts are all kind of related.
Yeah.
And I think it's a kind of an interesting segue into it. But um, one of these has been deleted um, around the Dota 2 Brazilian streamer calls pro player girlfriend a road slut. And then there's a racial slur one. K1 uses racial slur against Febby. And then there's some stuff around Cheap Stick making a comment on Grant's appearance on stream. So I think these are all kind of related to like unsavory characters or actions inside the game. And yeah, it's interesting to touch on it that this stuff still happens. Like racism happens in a lot of the games, and I just think it should be stamped out. Like I honestly think that anyone that's using racist terms inside the game, especially like in chat, that's easy to track, should be banned instantly. Their account completely. Um, that kind of stuff. I know there's like context has to be involved and stuff like that, but it's good to see that there's some action being taken on some of these people. But what are your guys' thoughts on it? I guess the sheepstick one is a bit different, but the first two maybe.
why is Grant actually like frowned upon?
He was
Uh,
sexually
because
assaulted
yeah,
people.
yeah, he was in the pot with Red Eye and Toby
Oh, oh,
for
okay, yeah.
like
I
claims of
didn't even know he
assault
was in
and
that.
sexual
That's
assault.
how little I care about him.
Yeah, and he was on Mason's stream actually and casting.
Yeah, so or I noticed.
Yes.
Mm, what do you want to know?
I mean, what do you think about it in general? Like from racial stuff to people that have been
I
accused
mean,
of
I think we're like I don't know, like you shouldn't do that. Don't be racist, kids. But no, I don't know. Like I think we've all done it in the heat of the moment, but like then you need to be a man and accept the consequences, right?
yeah.
And it's a different when you actually mean it. Like when you actually mean it, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
No, I disagree about the meaning it thing though. I think that it's important to stand up to it, and even whether you mean it or not, like I think there's a bit of truth in all of those things. Uh, like I know people make mistakes and that, but I don't think that like intent is important here. Like I think if you're with your friends back home and you make some off-color jokes or something like that, then that's fine. But like in a game with strangers that you don't know what people's situation is or how that might affect them. So I think it's really important not to do that, especially when it's against the terms of service and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty like hardcore on this kind of stuff, as you guys know.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I just don't think it has any place in the scene. I think that we need to make the scene safe for all people, not just racism, but especially women. I've been in games where somebody I've known girls that have played the game that are scared to talk on voice chat because they'll get harassed. People will be like, "Oh, a girl," and kind of carry on, like I like just kind of hitting on her or whatever, which is pretty silly because it's a computer game and you're probably never going to meet them. But yeah,
But I agree with that. Like I do, but I think like I don't know. It shouldn't obviously never should happen. Shouldn't happen.
yeah, I think like my call to action would be that we just have some people, some organizations have been really good about it, and some have been a little bit more stand on the side of the road about it. But I think we just need to have action, if not from the organizations, then from Valve, especially with pro players inside of a game. It's very hard to control, and like, you know what, it is what it is, and you can't control everyone. Ideally, it wouldn't be there, but it is. But in a pro scene, you're representing the club, but you're also representing you're representing Valve, you're representing gaming in general, and it's not, in my opinion, unfair to hold those players to a high standard because they are getting paid money to play the game. It is their job, and if you went into your business, your work, if you work in an office or something like that, you wouldn't get away with that either. You know, if you started throwing those slurs, you'd be like, oh, right away. Same with sexual harassment. So I think they should be held to the same standards as everyone else. I don't think just because they're exceptional talent, as we've seen, there's a lot of new talent that will replace them. So whether that's Valve that has to take action, or an ownership of it, or tournament organizers, or whatever it happens to be, if not the orgs themselves.
Yeah, the K1 incident was basically like I didn't, for example, even knew, like I watched the clip and he called Fabi Ching Chong. Do you think that is racial?
Yes.
I
That's
didn't
the
even
definition.
I didn't even knew that like that specific thing could be a racial thing. Not at all.
Well, he's like basically like identifying him from where he's from and
Yeah,
using a derogatory term,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, to me, like I know I'm gonna go away from like Dota, but to me this seems like totally stupid. Not just from the people that use it, but from like the society to take it like this way, that everything right now is racist, everything right now is sexist. Like I'm disgusted by this, literally, of
Wait,
all
I'm
this shit.
confused. I'm confused about what your point here is. Like,
No,
are you
like
saying that you think that people shouldn't be calling this out as racist because they shouldn't be taking offense to Ching Chong? Or are you agreeing with it? I'm a little bit
no,
confused at what point you.
like my point is that I don't understand why there are these type of like outcomes out of all of this, because it's like,
I,
yeah, someone uses like racial, I don't know, word or something like that, and then like it is dragged on and discussed everywhere, which I think is okay to till a certain extent. Like for example here in this specific case, it was in a heat of a moment, which is the first thing. Like, yeah, everybody can have an opinion on like whether the heat of the moment matters or not. Yeah, and then I know that Fabi tweeted on this, and he said that K1 apologized to him in DMs with a sincere apology, and that he accepted it, right? And that's, I think that's personally where I think it should stop. You know, because yes, you use like a racial word towards someone, it can insult them. But then if you realize it, if you like don't mean it, because it was obvious, for example, from this case that he didn't mean it, and you apologize, then like what is there to brag about? If the other person is like, I'm not saying okay with it, but if he accepts the apology and then like, all right, let's go move on. Not like what happened, that God was tweeting about this, that like he needs to be punished because same or like very similar thing happened to Cuckoo. Uh, and essentially what happened was that Cuckoo was banned from two big events.
mm-hmm.
And like I just don't, I'm trying to understand it, but I don't, in like why are these things being dragged on when there is a move from the person who did it to apologize, to sincerely apologize. Obviously, yes, he didn't apologize in public. so far as I know. Neither did the organization. But in my eyes, organization has nothing to do with it. It's the player, right? Or the
Nah,
person
I
that
disagree. I
does it.
disagree. I
Uh,
disagree. The organization has to do with it. He represents the organization.
yes, he does represent the organization. But if he like, I think the organization should, or the org should step in at the point of like resulting this in private. Like, why would this have to be resulted publicly?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in your comments, but what I'll say is I'll start with the most recent point. So why does it have to be resolved in public? Because it sets a precedent that it's okay if it's resolved in private. So if they have come out with a statement and say this has been resolved in private, then you might as well just come out and say what the resolution was. And if you don't come out with a statement, the hundreds of thousands of people that watch that think that it's okay, and it's not okay. It is a racist term, and it's been happening for a long time. Like racism is fairly new that it's something that we're actioning. Like there was still slaves in the United States like less than 100 years ago in the history of humankind. That is a blip. Ching chong is like a really common racial slur against Chinese people for a long time. It's like calling a Jewish person a kike or calling a black person the N-word or any of the other terms that you can think of, right? I'm sure there's many ones that you guys could probably think of right now that we probably don't even need to go down. So when somebody is being paid by a company, they represent that company, and it's their responsibility to represent to the best of their ability and represent the values of that organization. If they don't, the organization is then condoning that action and those values that they're saying. So they have to then take action, set the tone. And if they don't, then it looks bad on them, in my opinion. I think that this should be talked about because if we ignore it, and also like on the things of saying sorry, like, well, Sergi, how would you feel if I punched you in the face and then said sorry?
I mean, I would ask you if you mean it. And if you said that you mean it, then I would fucking kick your ass.
Well,
If
okay, I
not,
say
then
no, I
then
didn't mean
I
it.
want to see that.
I
I
said,
want to
I
see
said,
Synergy kick someone's ass.
I say, okay. So what if I say no? I'm not. I didn't mean it, and I'm sorry, and you'd be fine with it. And then what if I did it again and I said the same thing? I'm sorry. An apology only goes so far, is my point.
I mean, if you
Actions
would
speak
do it
louder than words.
again, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be doing it again.
Right. So, like, I'm not going to
Like,
punch you in the face. That's not my point. My
yeah, I
point is that you
know.
get fed up with it really quickly. And this is not the first time that racism has been in the scene. It's been going on for a long time. And when you walk a mile in the shoes of the people that receive that racism, that's when you start to understand this person, like, potentially has had multiple incidents of racism. It's a massive issue in the Premier League. Like, people will throw a banana peel at black players or whatever the thing is. So, it's not like just this one isolated incident isn't the only time that they've experienced it. It's not okay as a once off. It's never okay.
I'm not
And
saying
we
it's
all make
okay.
mistakes.
I'm not
I know,
saying
and
it's
we all make.
okay.
Hmm.
Like that's not my point at all. Like
But
I
that's why it needs to be talked about, is what I'm saying.
all
That's
right,
why it
sure,
needs to be
sure.
dragged out.
Talked
It needs to
about
be public.
sure, but drag it. I don't think it's needed, to be honest.
Well, there's been no resolution to this particular one. There's no statement or no apology that I can see. Maybe I'm missing it, but
Yeah, I don't know. I like personally, since I know like this type of stuff, how I take it. I mean, in even like there is like quote unquote racism even in like Czech Republic towards certain locations,
sure.
you know, and I don't even take it like like my part of the family, they are sometimes making jokes on like where I live, but like I don't take it like it is in a way it is racism. But like I don't even take it that way, and not just because it is family. Like even friends of my cousin like make jokes about it when I visit, you know. And I don't take it that way. I take it as a joke because I know it is a joke. And even if they
Okay.
mean it, like I don't fucking care. And like I just don't like the way that it's being treated. That like everybody is fucking dragging around it and making such a big thing out of it when like I would understand it if like the player would mean it, if it wouldn't be in hate of situation, if it would be like straight up uh, making racial comments on someone. yes, that is completely wrong, and that person should,
That's what
like,
it
in my
is.
opinion, even go to jail. But it's not even this case.
Oh, I think it is. He's making racial slur. Like, I don't care about if it's in the heat of the moment. I really don't. I think that's still wrong. And on the point of your family, like, I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the fact that you don't want to like deal with this and like, like drag it out. I get it. Like, you just want to move on, and like, it's kind of annoying or whatever. But I think like with your family, it is different because it's not somebody that's representing an organization. It's not on a stream to thousands of people. I still don't like personally condone that, and I feel for you if you're being discriminated against even by your own family. But it is different because you're number one okay with it, and if you weren't, then I would support you, and I'd hope that your family, immediate family, would support you in standing up or saying something about it. That's the only way you change behavior, by actually making it public, making and standing up about it, saying how you feel. But that is a different situation because it's a personal family. It's not in public on a stream, representing an organization. There's a difference there, right? But I
Yeah.
get your point. I understand your point.
Yeah, that is for sure a difference. I'm not gonna argue with that at all.
It's also different when, like, with family, it's usually in a good, like, not bad nature, and this online is like they probably go in there with the mindset we're never gonna meet each other. Who cares what I do here? I can do whatever I want because I'm not gonna get the consequences from that. I'm not gonna feel the or know the consequence from that as well. That's
Yeah,
what their intake is.
it just shows a very like sad way of thinking. Is that the only thing that this person can think of? Like, you guys have seen me. I've been toxic for sure, but you could come up with so many
You?
creative ways to be toxic. Like, you know what I mean? It's. I'm not saying you should be toxic or anything like that, but we all have our moments. We all lose our minds or whatever, and like, you don't need to be like, if the only thing you can think of is making fun of where someone was born, which they literally have zero control out of, when they're playing like shit or they're like, acting like an idiot, then I think it says more about the person that's doing it anyways, just to kind of bring it onto a funny note. I think you guys would agree that I've had some creative insults in Dota.
Oh, yeah, I certainly do. Like, th- like for me, the thing, like, I think why I am not like super over, or like not, uh, like why I'm not on your level of thinking is because of the fact that, like, when I wanna insult someone, I just use bad words instead of racial statements. So just to close this out. So we move on to two last topics or news, which is the first one. JerAx is confirmed as a new coach of Liquid, and Blitz therefore is out as a coach of Liquid. What do you
Does
guys
that mean he's
think?
going to do the podcast with Cap again, or
I
start
don't know.
casting with Cap again?
I don't. I mean, I hope that Blitz is gonna come back to at least being an analyst because I really like him. I really like him and
Analyst? What
Jack.
did you just say?
Analyst, yes.
Oh, analyst.
Because I really like Blitz and Jack as well. Jack hasn't been in the scene for a long time. I know he was doing some stuff with uh, Thunder J Storm.
By the way, your facts are not right. Blitz is not leaving Liquid.
He's not leaving
Y-
Liquid.
No.
I mean, he's certainly leaving as a coach.
No, he's just gonna be like he's not like a pro Dota, like an analyst. Like you said, like he tried to help them. He's still gonna do the same thing. It's just JerAx is now like the coach, like
Because I know
the other coaches
Blitz.
are, because
Uh,
Blitz is not that.
I know that Blitz was a coach of Liquid.
And yeah, but define coach. There's no definition of coach. Like you can be the same goes within like professional football, right? Like people that used to play on the highest level and win a lot of things, like the Champions League, and I don't know, they're gonna end up becoming coaches as well. You also you have a coaches that didn't accomplish what they do, but they're still very good coaches. Like the same dynamic applies here. That's not gonna be like it's gonna be like assistant coach or whatever you want to call it. Like he's not gonna leave as a coach. Doesn't mean like there's only one spot for a coach.
I mean, yeah, for
There's
sure.
not per definition. Hey, you're a coach here. Guess I'm out. No, it doesn't work like that.
But still, like JerAx is essentially replacing what Blitz was doing so far.
Well, he's taking over or improving or taking it to a different level,
A different
like
level
doing
is
it
a
a
good.
different way with his own style. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna be better or worse than Blitz, for sure not. But uh, it is an interesting new chapter, at least for JerAx for sure. Because moving on basically to EG and then having probably one of the worst. I don't know how long he was even there, maybe a year, not maybe even that. And then like moving on here, so that is an interesting new thing. And the second thing is that Anna is gonna be standing in for Matu in Liquid in the Riyadh Invitational 2022, which is bit interesting since Anna just basically came back to playing. He mentioned that on the OG podcast around a week ago, he said, which the podcast was released like 4 days ago. So let's say around 10 days ago, he came back to playing Dota again. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he actually performs. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like Anna. I'm an OG super fan, so uh, I don't know. That's a weird tournament, isn't it? That Riyadh Invitational thing. Was it just purely because wasn't there like some other tournament? Is that the same one that's?
that's a charity tournament, right?
But isn't
Hosted
there
by
some
Nigma.
other Dota tournament? Like yeah, because they're sponsored by the people or whatever.
That's 4 million prize pool actually.
So is that the same one? The same one that there's a Reddit post about that a while ago. P.T.S.D was the first announced team. $4 million
Yeah, yeah,
prize pool for
it's
Dota
that
2
one.
tournament happening that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a weird tournament. Like it's not like on the
I
Wikipedia
mean,
or the
yeah,
website.
there's Saudi Arabia qualifier.
Yeah, it is 7 invited teams and 3 teams from qualifiers.
Okay.
And the participants are PSG OGD, Team Secret, Team Spirit, OG, Tundra, Nigma Galaxy, TSM, Liquid, RNG, and D Boosters from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I guess money on the line. Some top teams playing. Seems like a lot of older like organization like style like big names. But yeah, Alliance. How many games do you think they'll win?
They're not there, Lions.
Alliance is
Oh,
not there. Alliance was invited to ESL One Malaysia.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's gonna be a flop since they don't even have a complete roster yet. But enough about
Yeah,
that.
I think Anna will probably do all right. He looked rusty when he came back last time for OG. Hard to if he hasn't been playing pubs and stuff like that, then it'll be tough. But who knows if he's been playing on a Smurf or something. He's a good player, but he'll be rusty, and the game has changed a lot.
Yeah. Well, we will see. It's
Why is
definitely
Match?
gonna be interesting to see.
Why is Matthew not going? Is there a reason?
What?
You said he's standing in for Matthew on.
It says citation needed. I don't know. I wouldn't have a freaking clue. It's not on Liquipedia.
I don't think it was announced why Anna is standing for Mato.
Currently unknown reason. Okay. Well, it could be anything. Could be personal. Could be medical. Who knows?
Like it could be literally anything. It could be visa as well because it is Saudi Arabia after all. So
Yeah, could be burnout. Like
yeah,
similar to
literally,
Yapsor, maybe. I don't know. We
literally
don't
anything.
actually know what's going on with Yapsor, but
Could be that he's losing his mind because you just look at his beard.
playing too much Lone Druid. But yeah, I think he'll be all right.
Okay. So I think we can close this thing and we can move on to the DPC, which is coming to an end very soon. And for some of the regions, or I think actually most of the regions, there are tie breaks either going on or have been finished. Uh, So just I'm just gonna go briefly through the standings that are right now, and then we're gonna talk about
No
individual
spoilers
tie
though.
breaks and stuff like that. I mean, spoilers as of today, 14th of July. Tundra in EU leading 6-1, OG 5-2, Team Liquid 5-2 at the second position. On the bottom, the Goon Squad 2-6 and 0-7 Alliance, as we've already talked about.
So
For
there's a tie break between Goon Squad and is it Entity? A Secret? Or sorry, who has a tie break there? Goon Squad and
There is a tiebreak for second and third, which is OG Liquid, for fourth and fifth, which is Entity and Secret, and sixth and seven between Goon Squad and Gaming Gladiators.
right. Okay.
The standings for CIS region is Team Spirit first with 6-1, then Navi and Outsiders both on 5-1. And on the bottom, Pari Parni and Rune Eaters are going to the Division 2 with score 1-6. Then we have China, which RNG leading 5-2, following up with uh, Aster Aries, Team Aster, and Extreme Gaming 4-3, 4-2, and 4-3 respectively. And on the bottom, Vichy Gaming 3-4 and Dandelion Esports Club 1-6. Then we have the SCA, which is Boom Esports and Talon Esports, both 6-1. Fnatic followed with 5-2. And on the bottom, Nigma Galaxy SCA and Polaris Esports with 1-6 and 0-7. Then the NADPC is EG61, Nouns 6-1, Quincy Crew 6-1, TSM 4-3, and on the bottom 1-6 and 1-6 and 1-6 for Fiverat for first staff, Felt, and the Cut. And lastly, the South America is Beast Coast 5-1, Thunder Awaken 5-1, and SG Esports 2-4 on the bottom, and Hokore with 1-5. Those are the standings as of today. Now, what I wanted to touch upon was the interesting tiebreaker that can happen in China, which is if tomorrow PSG loses to Aster, then they will end up with a score 3-4, which makes up a potential three-way tiebreak. There is already a secure two-way tiebreak between eHome and Vichy Gaming. But there could be a three-way tiebreak with eHome, PSG and Vichy Gaming, with both of them having scored 3-4. And if PSG would lose that tiebreak, they are going to Division 2, which is the first team that by DPC rankings and DPC points is automatically invited to TI. So that seemed pretty interesting to me. And it's not that like unlikely to happen, at least the three-way tiebreak, because Aster was doing pretty well in this season. Like going 4-2, they didn't face PSG so far, but they beat Extreme Gaming. They lost to RNG, which was the leader of the group. They had a close game versus Vichy Gaming. And then they 2-1 eHome, Dandelion Esports, and Aster Aries. But like they are not showing in a bad light. On the other hand, PSG they are sloppy this DPC season for sure. And I think it will be really, really interesting to see PSG go down to Division 2. It will be really interesting. Do you guys think?
Very interesting for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just pop back up, but I
I
don't.
don't
I
think
don't
I
know.
don't think PSG is gonna lose or get in the tiebreakers or gonna go to the Division 2. It would be hilarious, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, the
Um,
chance, sorry to cut you, the chance of getting them to the Div 2 is, I think, very low, considering how much gaming any home played this season. But getting into the tiebreaker is not that unlikely. So I think we can move on to the main topic, which is
oh God,
a
we're only on the main topic.
yeah, which is
We have a main topic.
yeah, we do, which is a rhetorical, not a rhetorical question, but a question that is very, I felt like talkative based, which is how did we get to Dota and why we stayed for each of us. So who wants to start with their story?
I mean,
How
I
I
just started playing with my friends.
how I got to Dota. I can't even remember.
All right, so I will let you guys think, and I will start then. So for me, I was in high school. I was in a first year, and that was when Dota 2 came out. And my friend was giving out the free keys to the game. He gave it to three of my friends. I didn't wanted to get the key, and then I just continued for that year with my school life, right? Just playing single player games like NHL, FIFA. That was my kind of stuff. Gothic, beautiful RPG game. Recommend. And then in the second year, it got a lot harder because those friends that got the Dota 2 key, they were playing Dota 2 basically only, nothing else besides that. And whenever we wanted to talk, it was like, yeah, we played this game yesterday, and this hero is so fucking bonkers and stuff like that. And I just didn't have anything to talk about with them besides school, which is boring, obviously. And in games, we didn't have anything in common because they just play Dota. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to lose my friends. So I downloaded the game. I played, I don't know, like 20, 30, around 20 games, I think. Like a lot of games against bots and then games against people. And then I wanted to surprise them. So when they had like this conversation and stuff like this, I was like, oh yeah, so Enigma will just use black hole and everything, goes to shit. And they were like, "Wait, what? You're playing Dota?" And they dragged me in. We started playing with each other. Those were beautiful, like my really beautiful memories that I have. And it was really fun. We played basically the entire my school year. We basically played together. It was a lot of fun, a lot of funny memories with them. And when I started playing Dota, there was this like weird sort of tutorial that was before Reborn, obviously. So there was even the old client with the old UI. And in the tutorial, you played a sniper. So in the first game that I played, I was like, okay, I have to pick sniper because that's the only hero I know his skills, right? And as soon as I load into the game, uh, the sniper was picked because there was no bans, nothing like that. So I was like, okay, shit. So I started reading like all the hero skills and stuff like that, and then I stumbled on Sand King. I was like, okay, Burrow Strike. So he just like goes into the ground, then he pops out somewhere where I choose, and then he stuns people like during that line. Okay, that sounds pretty fucking good. And then Sandstorm, right? So he creates like a literal sandstorm. He's invisible and he deals damage. Like, holy shit, that's good. Passive, I'm not gonna read that. It's probably shit. And then the ultimate epicenter. So he stomps his tail on the ground, and then it makes like a wave that deals damage. Holy shit, that's good. All right. I started playing Sand King. And I played Sand King 40 games in a row before my friends convinced me to start playing something else. So that was how I started my journey in Dota, and why I stayed. That's a very good question because I don't even know why. But I think for me it's probably the thing like I don't know if you know guys that feeling, but when you invest like not just time, but like your knowledge, like that you have to study and shit like that. If you invest as much time as I did, I don't want to even leave it. That is probably why I stay because I invested so much time and so much. I tried to learn and then improve in that game that I just feel like it would be such a waste to leave it just behind. You know, to just like delete the game and say, okay, I'm done. In my eyes, it would be such a fucking waste. And if I look back at it, I think if I would do something else, it would be probably better. But like since I already invested in it so much, I really like to stick with it because even though I took breaks, which I did, long ones, then I always came back because it's just the fact that not just investing, but even though the game like right now, you know, is in my opinion not in a good spot, it is still the game that I really enjoy and love. And not to mention that it brings me a lot of friends like you guys, so that's what I'm grateful for it as well. Thank you very much. All right,
Cool, man.
I'm done. Now is your turn, guys.
Mine will be a lot shorter than that, but I think it's cool that you know, you've enjoyed it and made friends through it and all that. So I think that's what it's all about. For me, it's pretty basic. I started playing because of my friends. They played. Um, I kept playing because my friends kept playing, and it's probably I'd say now like I enjoy the game how it changes, and I sure the investment side of it, like of how much you've kind of like worked at it and learned about it. But mostly it's probably to stay in touch with my friends and to get an escape from whatever life. Just turn off my brain for a bit and do something. I tend to think a lot and overthink sometimes. So when I get kind of into a game of Dota, it's pretty intense as far as like making decisions and information processing. So it's kind of a way of meditating in a way, I guess, for myself.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I actually forgot that for a lot of people in general, games are like an escape route from like real life, which actually it was for me as well for a period of time. Games in
Yeah.
general, not just Dota.
Mine's like not so much like I don't know if escape would be the right word for me. Even though I use that word, I wouldn't say that like I'd be using it for like get away from things I didn't like necessarily. Like I would just a distraction, I guess, from I guess escape maybe is the right word.
Yeah,
Not in a negative way though, like you know what I mean? Like not
yeah,
like I
it's
had like a
not.
bad childhood and I needed to escape from it or anything like that, or I like was like bullied in school. Like I didn't have that really.
Ah, so not my
Just
case then, huh? All right.
not any well I was bullied a little bit kind of like not really but like as much as anyone else like I had people that I didn't get along with but I'm also a big person, which is why I thought it was really funny when you say you beat me up because it's I'm about 115 kilos and 6'2", so
Okay, so then I would probably have to bring some friends then, I guess.
yeah, I played ice hockey and I've fought many people in many situations.
Holy
So
shit.
but
All
I
right,
wouldn't.
all
I'm
right.
not really a fighter. I'd only fight if like I was like back against the wall or something, or playing ice hockey. I'd fight,
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
but I thought it was funny.
I'm the typical got bullied guy, so pretty skinny, small.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably not a good good choice to pick a fight with you then.
I mean, I wouldn't like. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to pick a fight with me, anyways. I wouldn't like. I wouldn't engage with you unless you like
It's good to know.
threatened me or something. But
I thought you were gonna say you wouldn't let me.
yeah, I'd probably just hold you down and make you hit yourself.
Yeah,
And be like,
yeah,
stop hitting yourself, Synergy.
yeah,
Stop hitting yourself. No, I'm
yeah.
joking.
Typical bullies. Why are you hitting yourself? What are you doing?
Yeah. My nephew loves when I do that to him though. Him and his mom have a joke like it's really light, obviously, but it's like, why are you hitting yourself, Liam? Like really light, not in a mean way, and he loves it. He likes when we do it to him. It's funny.
I mean, why wouldn't you shove Synergy into a locker?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
That would be funny. It would be funny to see Synergy kick your ass, like he said.
Oh, jeez.
Bro,
What
No,
about you,
annoying.
Tiger?
Synergy can kick your ass. I definitely believe that.
I don't.
Couldn't?
When you use only one hand or something, like only the left part of your body.
Dude,
I don't
like
think you.
as soon as you said you are like 6 foot, 100 kilos, like at that point I knew.
115.
Sure, whatever. Those plus 50
115 kilos chunk of love.
chunk of love,
Some
yeah.
chunk, like definitely a little bit of pudge, but a lot of like decent amount of muscle as well. I play sports and stuff like that, so
I don't. I
I
just play
play
Dota.
Australian rules football. Have you ever watched a game of that? It's quite rough.
Yeah, I mean
Why would you
rugby.
play that?
Yeah,
Why do I play it?
I mean it's fun.
I like it.
Yeah,
I would
Very
choose
cool.
sport over video games if I had to choose. 100%.
I would choose video
V-
games every single day.
Yeah.
What a nerd.
I coach now as well. So when I stop being I'm old, so I'm 36, but like when I stop being able to actually play, I will keep coaching because I like the social side of it as well.
That's good. Okay, Tiger, you are up next. The best for
With what?
last.
For what?
No, how did you get to Dota and why you stayed?
How did how did I get to Dota? Okay, I was back in the days, believe it or not, Company of Heroes 2. I was top player, playing there. I just got sick and tired of it because of the devs not doing anything about it. Like something being broken for over a year, people knowing that there's no counter to it. Then my brother and his friends were playing Dota, so they asked me if I wanted to join them. I was like, sure, why not? Kind of liked it. I kept playing with them, and then at some point, turned out I was better than them. Sounds very cocky, very arrogant, but like I got more serious into it. Like wanted to play in like teams and stuff like that, having a steady stack. That's usually why I stayed. Why I stay now, I honestly I have no freaking idea.
Mm.
I actually don't know. Like just enjoy it. I don't know. Can I do I still play Dota seriously? I don't think I've done that for the last year and a half.
We
There's
had
Company of Heroes 2 RTS.
Yeah, it is.
I have it on my Steam list forever. I think it was free at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Like that was actually during Grand Championship Series 2 where I was at. That was a LAN party. Like second LAN party on Company of Heroes. Like LAN tournament. I was there with my brother as well.
Nice. Cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
All right. On to the last.
Yeah, on to the last.
So yeah, I don't know. I just you can introduce it, I guess. Energy.
Okay, so the last segment, as usual, the hero spotlight, which is your choice, Mr. Liberty, since you weren't here last time and I chose first. So your hero, which one do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I chose Dazzle for this week. But yeah, I think this is a hero that's kind of low key getting better. I know it's like somewhat limited in certain situations that it doesn't have like a built-in stun. But I think that the shard is really really good. I think it's one of the best shards in the game. I know 1400 gold is a lot, but I think like to have an AOE stun, literally stun their whole team in a team fight on it's like for 2 seconds. They recently got buffed again. It used to be 1.5 seconds, then 1.75, and now it's 2 seconds. That's a pretty long time, as well as applying a slow and damage over time. It's a really really powerful spell.
We're still talking about the shard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the shard makes, if anyone doesn't know, poison touch, apply a 2-second hex. So it can deal with illusions. It can push decently well, and it can push lanes with poison touch and or shadow wave. Probably shadow wave is better than the creep wave. But yeah, I just think it's kind of been slowly climbing. It hasn't received any nerfs. It's one of those like kind of just crept up a little bit. I think it's not quite where it is now. It's not being played too much. Like I know Fly is playing it and a few people in DPC. 4-0 with it. Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on the hero?
I don't necessarily agree with the fact that the shard is good. Why not? You usually play Dazzle as a 5. Like going 1400 gold into like nothing as in stat wise. Like helping your team wise. It offers you nothing, which I don't like it. It's a luxury item, get it as your maybe fourth, maybe fifth item. Other than that, I don't care about it. I think Dazzle is kind of like such a why like stuns win games, right? Dazzle does snap that unless you spend 1400 gold after 15 minutes in while you're a 5, so you can't rely on that. Grave is a very niche thing. Like if you don't have a counter for it, it's very good. Like they changed the old recently again as well, right? I have no idea how it works these days, to be honest.
Yeah, so basically like every time you cast a spell, it reduces the cooldown of your other spells.
Yeah, but you only have 2 spells to cast, right? 3.
3.
Well, they're all low are relatively high cooldown. And I think the heal can it's like 160 level 4, right? It's super underwhelming in my opinion. Why would they not like buff that?
Well, I think like so. First of all, like I know it's a talent, but the talent is a big power spike at 15. So I would generally like skip the first point. So let me just pull up the hero. So the first talent is 50 damage or 1.75 mana regen, and you don't really need either of those at level 10. It's better to like just love your spells. But Shadow Wave, yeah, it's 140, but it also can arc and heal multiple people and damage, right?
Yeah, but it's still 140 super underwhelming. Even if it were to be 160, it was still like please buff it because I'm like yeah, you can heal a lot of people, but there are other heals that can do that too.
Sure. Yeah. There's always other things, but yeah. So then yeah, basically when you cast a spell, your other spells are reduced by 2, and I think the cooldown on Poison Touch is 15 seconds, and then 9 seconds on Shadow Wave, and then Shallow Grave is 18 seconds. So like in the situation where you needed it, you could like go Shadow Wave or Poison Touch, maybe Shadow Wave, pop your alt, maybe grave someone. If you don't need to, you could throw it out anyways, or just wait, Shadow Wave again, and you have Poison Touch up again after like less than 10 seconds. So 2 AoE stuns after the shard that are 2 seconds. Like I don't know, I think it's a super powerful team fight. It's good laner as well. You can pressure the first few levels. Poison Touch level 1 and 2 is very, 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 very strong. You can basically solo any hero if they try to man up on you. You can kite any melee hero. They have to respond, which allows you to create space for your carry and lane, as well as being able to heal them. With the nerfs to salve, any healer is stronger. You also naturally aren't too sad about building headdress in lane, which is really strong as well because it builds into heal stick, whatever that's called. I always forget the name of that item. Holy Locket, yeah, that's the one. Also, one small note that people don't realize about Dazzle is that Shallow Grave actually, they think about the save and the duration, but it actually has a heal amplification for every 10% of HP missing. So at max level, it's 80%. So with Holy Locket and that, and you're healing people and you're popping your alt, you actually can very easily heal people to full, even cores. So you pop Grave on them if they're low, and then you Shadow Wave, Holy Locket them, pop your alt, Shadow Wave again, maybe Hex someone, Shadow Wave again. They're going to be pretty much full up from that. All the amplification. It's quite powerful.
All right.
Got a positive win rate in high matches as well. So it's sitting at 51.6 on Dota Pro Tracker, which is not too bad. as position 5.
Yeah,
Yep.
I personally really like the But Juju, like the active part of Ultimate.
Hmm.
What does that do again?
That is, it has a passive ability that is that whenever a unit is affected by Dazzle spells, they temporarily gain or lose armor. Which means if you use Shallow Wave on someone and it touches enemy and it touches your teammate as well or creeps, doesn't matter, they gain armor passively. They gain 1, 2, and 3 armor per level. With addition to talent, it can be 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5, which is 0.5 armor per stack. Which means if you use Shadow Wave, Shadow Wave like 30 times, enemy loses 30 armor on level 1, and your teammates and creeps get 30 armor. That's like basically. And also it can be activated to heal or deal damage based on, again, how many stacks the unit has on them from the spells. But like theoretically speaking, you can only use like 3 stacks max to for healing, so it is like the heal is 40, 50, and 60, so it is like 180 heal when you use it as an active, but it is also a very low cooldown. It's 15 seconds, so you can heal like use this like small heal during team fight more often. It's pretty good. I really like that. I also think that like yeah, like Dazzle is position 5, but I also think the Aghanim Scepter is pretty good, which turns the good Juju to active, which can be used on yourself or teammate. I believe it is also you, which refreshes the cooldowns of items, except for Refresher, I think. I don't think there is any other item that it doesn't refresh. I think it even refreshes Ion Disc, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Like it is 4,200 gold for post 5. It is a lot, but I think it is very underrated. I think that has definitely play if you would make that. Like for example, if you would have Alk, which right now is being really popular, being picked a lot, not even just in Pro Sim, but in pubs as well, then he can give you an axe. You can refresh like items. BKB would be, with all the nerfs to BKB and stuff like that, then can be pretty powerful. Like probably you building it would take too long, so in like 60-minute game, yeah, probably. But other than that, I think it is a good item for Dazzle because it gives you a lot of opportunities.
Yep. And just to put in like the amount of healing that Dazzle could do. So if you took the talent of 250 end on Shallow Grave, for example, let's just say it's late game, and then you are healing somebody with Shadow Wave, it's 190 with the talent, but you can get 2 of those off. So that's 440 and then 630 plus 300 from Holy Locket plus 180 from the alt. Let's say potentially because it's the same person you graved. That's 1,110 healing, which is not too bad. But then we're also going to multiply that. And I'm not sure if this is how this stacks, but let's say stacks in the best possible way. Multiply it by the 30% from Holy Locket, and then multiply that by the 80% from Shallow Grave. Let's actually go with 1.5 because it's probably not going to be 80% the whole time. As you heal them, the different spells will have different effects. But that's still like 2,000 plus healing, which is quite a bit of healing for on a 15-second cooldown. That rotation, depending on how many spells are cast with Holy Locket, but all those spells would be up after 15, 20 seconds again. Plus, you get 2 stuns in that rotation as well. Yeah.
It's
Anyways,
not too bad. Obviously, it's not level of Eng, it's not level of Chen, but it's not bad.
yeah.
I also really like the Shard. Like I agree with Tiger that it's not probably like your first item. I still think that like Force stuff in my opinion has kinda edge on Glimmer with Dazzle specifically. I kinda feel like but is mostly because of the fact that like you when you grave someone, that person is in awful positioning usually. So like the force stuff is to help him out in that way rather than Glimmer. 'Cause Glimmer is like, yeah, like enemy buys dust, what does the Glimmer did? Nothing. With force stuff you have a little bit more chance to save that person actually. But like as a second item, I think it's not bad. Like it is 2 seconds. Hex, which costs like 450, I think, so somewhere around that. It's 3.5, and it's single target. This is AOE. So
Yeah,
like gold wise, it's not bad at all. It's actually really worth it.
I agree.
I
I
think
think
like a
it's
second item, it should be okay to have it. I think actually, I've seen a lot of Dazzles actually just making fucking Etherland's shard, which in my opinion is stupid. I mean,
mm,
makes the like it kind of has a point, but the point is wrong, you know. So like I think like force stuff into shard could be really good, and then like building up the holy locker because like having mech on Dazzle is like really past that time. I think it's just way
Yeah,
too
that's why I
slow.
think you still don't get shard as a second item. Yeah, you get shard because it's a decent shard. But like, remember, you're 5. You're not 4. You're not 3. Yeah, like you need 4 stuff for sure. They get plus mech or holy locket or whatever, and then get the shard.
oh, I don't think mech's that good.
I mean,
I don't think
doesn't
mech.
matter. Hack is still better. Like keep in mind that shard is good, but you still go 1400 gold into that offers the stun, the hex. Like go get something that helps your team out. Like Mac does that, Holy Locket does that.
I think that AOE hex for 2 seconds helps your team out.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind
Yeah, it does,
of
but not
I agree.
like.
Stat wise, if you're like if you make the
Yeah, but
argument that it
then
doesn't
what? Like,
as
what are you gonna do when you're gonna die? You have nothing. Yeah,
cast grave on yourself then if they go on you, and that's
yeah.
fine.
What?
The team is
How are you
wasting at
gonna be
least.
able to? How are you gonna be able to cast Grave on yourself when you're getting gone on, getting stunned, not having a way out, not like having a way to delay? When you get initiated on as a Dazzle, that's exactly the thing that should not happen. And then
Well, yeah, but
if you were to like, you're gonna be the target that gets gone on first, or should get gone on first, and then you have like, hey, I have 1400 gold, but it doesn't do anything. So
well, I guess my argument to that would be like if you're standing in the middle of a fight and you get gone on, then yeah, you're just bad and you deserve to die. And I know that like there's going to be different situations where heroes are going to get the jump on you, and there's blink daggers later in the game. But like if you're playing in the right position, the other team is going to put themselves out of position if you guys are playing properly to go on the back line like that. Not all the time. There's going to be heroes that can do it, of course. It's a very situational. But if they want to commit a whole bunch of resources and you're able to make them waste those resources. Like it's not that often that a team will be able to 100 to 0 a position 5 that early in the game. You know, unless there's no help at all and there's nothing, especially early. The gap isn't as big as it is in late game. Like if you stand there late game and a farmed carry hits you, yeah, you're going to die right away. But you're also going to have more items at that point too. So that's when you will have a 4 staff. You will have some other items. But at 15 minutes into the game, and you have an AoE hex, they might be able to stack stuns in you. But then that means they've wasted all their stuns on a position 5, and the rest of your team should hopefully be able to turn that fight theoretically. So like, yes, there is caveats to it, and it's not a perfect hero, but I don't think that you saying the shard doesn't do anything for your team is fair.
I agree with that. But I like first of all I see the point, but I have one problem. Like I mean the point that Tiger said, but I have one problem with Shard the Dazzle has, and that is the fact that like we've mentioned, you guys mentioned, right? Like the positioning of Dazzle, like you don't wanna show pretty much any time because you are there to grave and heal from safe distance. If you wanna use the shard, you pretty much have to be in front. That's not where Dazzle wants to be. So that's basically the only thing I don't like about the shard. That like it forces you to play differently than what you should be playing as Dazzle. In early game, that like we can argue that like it is fine to some extent, right? But that means yeah, I buy the shard 15 minutes, which realistically speaking, for me, let's say it is like time measurement of like 17, 18 minutes. where we are heading to mid game, and at that point it is kind of, it is hard to like change the playstyle from being like this passive in the backlines to being like aggressive, and getting the value of it is harder that way, in my eyes. In team fights, I mean, like sure, you get it off for like most of the time, right?
Well, just like 100%, I get your point about positioning, but the actually has like a decent range beyond. It's like so the distance that the shard would bounce. So like if your target of poison touches on like right on the edge, it would actually hit a target that's almost double that again with the secondary cast. So you can actually hit like I don't know how to measure units in Dota, but like if I'm casting at the max range of it, then it would how it sends multiple poison touches out in a
Yeah.
cone kind of in front of you. It's actually almost double like the distance that you're casting to the first target maximum's range. Again, just short of that. So if you're playing it properly, you can actually cast it on a close hero and hit backline targets or potentially creeps if there's a fight around creep wave, which a lot of them fights are going to be around creep waves in the early game.
Well, in regards of like the description of the spell, the max cast range is 800 with the max distance 500, which end radius is 300. So it means it is 800 plus 300. If I understand that correctly, I should be able to understand it correctly, right? Because the
It's no,
max
it's
distance is like, it's not max traveling distance, but you should care about the end radius, which, oh no, actually no, yeah, it is 800 plus 500, because then the end radius is the search radius for the max distance additional, which should be 1300, which is like basically a blink. Like blink is what, 1200, or it's 1k. Not sure actually what's the
1200.
correct distance. 1200 then. Yeah, so it's a little bit longer than blink.
I'd say it's a bit shorter than Blink total overall. I'm just doing it in. I'm just testing it right now. So I've got like two heroes, one at the max range, and one just beyond that, where I've kind of cast the spell a few times. And Blink looks like it would reach just past that hero. But anyways, the point is that if you're creative, you can X a little bit further.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, I think there's a lot of valid points there, and there's never going to be a perfect game. But anyways, okay, cool.
So
Anything
everybody
else?
kind of agrees that like Dazzle is in a like okay spot. I would say it's in an okay spot. I wouldn't say it's in a good spot. I wouldn't say it's in a bad spot. I would say it's like in an okay balanced spot in my eyes.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, like like literally the only thing that counters Grave is Axe, right? Culling Blade. Besides that, like the Grave
AA,
is
yeah.
always a nuisance.
AA is quite good too, in a way. But yeah, it
Yeah,
keeps them
yeah,
alive
that's
anyways.
that's true. That's true. It also goes through Grave. That's true. Well, yeah. So you have like two heroes that counter that. Like he has a decent laning. I wouldn't say it's like his laning is like super ultra broken good. No, but his laning is decent. His mid game, in my opinion, is also decent. Late game, in my eyes, is lacking. But that's kind of what it should be in fives. Because the late game, it's anyway all about the grave anyway, most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, and an AoE hex.
Yeah, I mean if you get it
If you,
off, yeah,
because yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
so so that's that. So I would
Okay,
I would agree with that. Okay. So if
cool
you
beans.
don't guys have anything to add, I would add something. So as Dazzle has a pretty nice quote. I never miss a trick. That's exactly what the 2K player tells you after he graves himself. Right. So that would conclude the episode 3 of the Play the Surreal DotA podcast. I would like to thank you guys for joining me for tonight. It was a pleasure talking with you again. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate the numbers of people that watched the episode. So thank you guys.
You can
Keep
watch
it
a
up.
podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's on YouTube, so we watch it. You
Very
can
nice.
watch it if you want to. I only see the watch numbers, nothing else. Or the views, rather.
We're at 73 views on our first video
Yeah.
and 35 on the second one.
Yeah. Decreasing.
I hope I recognize my friends after I'm famous.
4 subscribers, which were 3 of us. So who's the other person?
Yeah.
To count himself.
If you are subscribed to the P.T.S.D podcast and you're listening to this, then please let us know who you are and we'll give you a shout out on the next one.
Yeah, for sure. Alright. So, thank you guys again for watching. And we will see you in the episode 4. Good night.
Bye!
Bye bye.